Jennifer Johnston is the program assistant at Western Washington University College of the Environment at Peninsula College in Port Angeles. And if you don't know, Clay, or Bob, we have this program where persons that have gotten their AA degrees can take a environmental course and get a BA through Western Washington, but on the Port Angeles campus, or I think in the Port Thompson campus.
In Paulsbo, and I'll be telling you all about it. We have a lot of fun stuff what we do.
So Jennifer has over 20 years of experience as an instructor in higher education. She's taught grant writing, technical writing, and the personal essay to students at Johns Hopkins University, American University, Chemeketa Community College.
Yep.
What is it?
Chemeketa, yes.
Chemeketa, okay, and Hillsborough Community College. Her graduate work was at Harvard University and at the University of Oregon, focused on public policy, adult education, and creative writing. So Jennifer, if you would take it away. Thanks so much, and I hope more people join.
Thank you. Well, I wrote my master's thesis at the University of Oregon on farm women, and on so that was how I began, was looking at farm women and really looking at the whole spectrum. But what I was interested in with farm women was how they viewed themselves, their work, and their lives. And one of my questions was why they weren't more interested in feminism. And of course, that was a political issue for a lot of farm women. And so that was how I began looking at ways to explain policy to people who don't know about policy or aren't interested in it and don't realize the benefits of learning more. So now I'm working in the College of the Environment on the peninsula. We have let me just go here. We are Western Washington College of the Environment on the Salish Sea region. So we are one of the preeminent environmental colleges. We are a recognized leader in environmental science and have one of the oldest colleges of the environment in the United States. Like the College of the Environment in Bellingham, our curriculum in environmental studies and environmental science is interdisciplinary. That means that students get to learn chemistry and biology, as well as GIS, and they will take classes in forest ecology and stream ecology. So they build an entire fully comprehensive program. And the College of the Environment Salish Sea region offers the added benefit of field work in environmental issues on the peninsula. So the BA in environmental studies is a program where students learn more about GIS and the history of environmental movements. A lot of them go work for conservation nonprofits, the National Park Service. They become GIS technicians. We have a GIS certificate. So that's what a lot of our students in environmental studies do. In environmental science, students are more math and science oriented. A lot of them do advanced biostatistics, or that's their particular issue. Many of them become wildlife biologists, naturalists, environmental inspectors, fishery biologists, marine biologists, park rangers, and so on. So that is some of the career that is available to them with that degree. What does it mean to be a College of the Environment student on the peninsula? Students immerse themselves in a unique program which has field trips all the time. They're always going somewhere. And amazed by how many different places they go, how much hands-on learning they actually do. They have field trips everywhere. Olympic National Park, they'll go into the Hoh rainforest. They're always down at the Hoh doing measurement of plant restoration and macroinvertebrates. And they'll go on DNR lands right around Port Angeles and Sequim and Poulsbo. So our College of the Environment has an office in Port Angeles at Peninsula College. We have classes there. We have classes at Olympic College in Poulsbo. We have classes in Everett at Everett Community College, and we offer our ecological restoration certificate on the San Juan Islands. So that's kind of our outer program out on the San Juan Islands. What kinds of projects do students in environmental studies and environmental science do on the peninsula? Well, like I said, they participate in the Lower Elwha River studies, measuring progress that goes nationally and internationally, because that's one of the most important dam removals ever, particularly in North America. So they are measuring each year. I have gone out with them. They do transects. They measure the growth year after year, and look at some of the issues with dam removal and the return of the riparian zone after the dams are removed. Students study forest ecology with trips to the Hoh rainforest and identify the unique flora and fauna of the area with an eye towards conservation. So before they go to the Hoh rainforest, they spend the entire term doing really intensive study of plant identification, bird identification. They learn all of this, they're tested on this, and then they go out into the field and they learn to see and identify all of the different plants and animals that they have spent the term studying. And they do an overnight at the Hoh. They do a couple of overnights around Western Washington. Students learn about climate change and climatology. They learn about issues relating to climate change. Both environmental science and environmental studies students do. Students learn stream ecology and details of riparian zones and the impacts of dams. So it's very interesting. It's not just, a lot of people think that a dam doesn't do a lot of damage to the surrounding riverine ecosystem, but it does, because floods and droughts and all of that is part of the evolution of the area. And when that water is dammed, that changes the entire ecosystem all around it. So that's one of the things that our students learn. They learn to examine the impact of urbanization on riparian zones. Now, here's another interesting element. When they're looking at the impacts of urbanization, a lot of their projects are chosen in King County. And why is that? Well, that's because if you want to see the worst case scenario, if you want to see what can go wrong, if you want to see the rivers that EPA have put on their dirty dozen, you can go to King County and see what happened, what they had to do, how they're trying to fix it, and what the challenges are. So one of the big projects that they have done over the course of the year is looking at coho salmon populations in rivers around King County and how they've just plummeted, just gone from 100 to 1 or none. And studies recently done by scholars at Western Washington in Bellingham have shown that it's the result of tires, the runoff, the wastewater runoff and the chemicals in tires that actually is decimating coho salmon runs. So whether we had dams or not, it wouldn't really matter. If you've got the more impervious area you have and the more cars you have, the fewer coho salmon, and it's coho, and they're considered an indicator species. It's coho specifically that are being impacted by this. So then students get to think about, well, what should we do in this situation? So it gives them a great opportunity to do some problem solving. They learn ecological restoration. That's another thing that they learn. They'll be doing that this fall. They learn ecological restoration in the San Juan Islands in collaboration with the San Juan Island Conservation District and the Island Conservation Corps. And that's part of their ecological restoration certificate. The ecological restoration certificate is 20 hours. It includes statistical techniques to communicate environmental data. A background in ecological restoration provides a specialty that pertains to a broad range of careers, understanding the challenges in the field of natural resources and opportunities for resiliency, and carbon sequestration offers relevant skills to shape the next generation of managers and practitioners tasked to address the landscape stresses of climate change. So it's a really important and unique program. Where else is there a college of the environment that has a program on the San Juan Islands looking at the specific issues there? So I wanted to bring up an example of work that is done on the San Juans in collaboration with the College of the Environment. And there is a restoration grant project on the ecocultural restoration of the Gary Oak on the San Juan Islands. And there's a link there, but I'll talk about that a little bit. There, $85,000 of the grant is allocated to 15 acres of restoration work at the western edge of the Mount Grant Preserve on San Juan Island. Habitat has been lost due to fire suppression, of all things, and the subsequent encroachment of young Doug firs. So the work is going to focus on the protection of existing high-quality habitat, grasslands, wildflowers, and old growth, and they're going to be thinning dense stands of young fir to provide an opportunity to increase the abundance and diversity. So what I like about that too is that more people are learning the technique of thinning rather than clear cutting. That's what we need for our next generation of managers. We have to show them how to clear cut how to thin stands of Doug fir rather than clear cut. So they're going to be planting native wildflowers and grasses. Restoration activities began earlier in the 2022 school year and will continue through June 2026. Turtleback Mountain on Orcas will get a USDA landscape scale restoration grant. On Turtleback Mountain Preserve, nearly $100,000 in grant funds will support thinning of small diameter conifers that are crowding out Gary Oak habitat on the south slope. These areas will be seeded with herbaceous species and planted sparsely, and they will be seeded with fruit-producing trees and shrubs to support songbirds and native pollinators. So there's one of our students here in Port Angeles. That is Will, and he is actually on the website page of the Coastal Watershed Institute. So I was surprised to see him there. It looks like he's showing off some macroinvertebrates. And that is one of the special features of our program, and it's the internship in environmental science and environmental studies. We have a course called 498. It's the culminating experience. And on the peninsula, what students get to do is they have special opportunities at the Coastal Watershed Institute. They can go, they can do, that's in Port Angeles. They can look at issues with the Coastal Watershed Institute, help them monitor stream health. They also have other opportunities in Poulsbo. They work at the Sea Discovery Center. In Port Angeles, they work at Olympic National Park or Olympic National Forest. And in Port Angeles and Port Townsend, they can work at the North Olympic Salmon Coalition. There's that and many other organizations here and abroad. So I was going to just talk about some of the things they're doing this summer. one of our students is going to Belize with another one of our professors from Peninsula College, and they're going to study at a conservation nonprofit in Belize. Another student is going to South Africa and is going to be sailing in a sailboat for 2 months, collecting marine data. We have another student going into the mountains of British Columbia. So we have students who, after they have learned here on the peninsula, they can go abroad. And, you know, another opportunity would be Sierra Club. That would be a great 498 for some of our students. They're always looking for something local. They are trained in monitoring local habitats because this is where they've done the work. So they are, and they're there. They're always looking for something at the end of their time. A lot of them will spend a couple of summers doing 498s, or they'll do them during the year. And so they do many hours. And so I think that it's great to look for opportunities at organizations like the Sierra Club, particularly if they're in environmental studies. Maybe they're planning to go on and go into law school. That's where some people might get a lot of good experience working with an organization like the Sierra Club. So now I'm going to show you a small video done by our director, Janice Bauman, who talks about our many opportunities for our students. So let me see if I can find that. And
Into your classroom is you're about to get dirty. So make sure you have your field boots and your gear, and you're going to get into the environment. You can spend days in the field getting used to these techniques and learning within the environment. Professor Lawrence from Olympic College and I work together a lot, particularly in the field. So we do a lot of surveying or monitoring of restoration projects here in Kitsap County, and have an active program where we take students out to the Elwha River Restoration Project.
One of the things that I'm most proud of right now with a pathway we've provided from Olympic College to Western is the ongoing mentorship we can provide, and then the real world experience we can offer them at the end.
Having Huxley on the peninsula over on this side of the water with Western Washington's Huxley, that allowed me to pursue this path. Working with environment and environmental science in general seems like a meaningful career path.
Right now, I am working at Fish Park in Fallsville, Washington, and I'm doing riparian zone restoration along with community organizing and volunteer coordinating, which is so much fun. When young girls will come and talk to me when I'm working in the field, and they're like, "That's so cool. I want to help the trees too." I just think absolutely yes, come work with me. This will be so fun. It's really rewarding to be able to work with the people and get to see all of the kiddos watching us do what we do and being interested by that.
I had a passion for the environment my whole life. I grew up hunting and fishing, and I wanted to protect those regulations that we have so that other generations can grow up and appreciate the lifestyle that I grew up having. And so once I found out about Huxley on the Peninsula's program, I wanted in.
I'm incredibly proud to be part of this program that allows us to extend our programming from Bellingham into these areas that were historically underrepresented with regard to an opportunity for a four-year degree.
Very nice, really
Love
good.
that. I love that. I think it's great. So anyway, I think that's what I've got. So does anyone have any questions?